mini major spot that they're looking after. And with Empire just winning, they are overtaken by them. So both has something to play for. One for survival, the other one for the Sixth Invitational.
Struggling is a word for Rogue's current form. I guess catastrophic might be another word for how it's gone. And as it was put on the desk, obviously it had to be quite a quick one due to keeping the pace of the broadcast. Unfortunately, I'm sure both of them had a few more things to say, and probably most pointed towards, is this really the salve that is required? We all know the caliber of player Karjaka can be, but we all also know that he hasn't been performing recently. The whole roster hasn't really been performing recently, but the whole roster has only really existed for one game. The one that we had on the other day, where there were some really promising moments, and then it just kind of started to fall apart. Unfortunately, we are only from this perspective. We aren't in the heads of the players. If they believe that this is the decision and choice that needs to be made, alongside the coaches and the people behind the scenes, then, well, today's the day to prove it. But from my perspective, I guess I wanted maybe a little bit more of this 5-man superstar roster that we had in the first phase.
And that's the thing, right? In stage 1, Rogue was so good. In phase 2, they started out, or stage 2, I have to say, not really as strong as they were playing with Hosty for the impending suspension, probably as preparation. And then Aces came back. First game, he was quite quiet, only had 2 games of preparation, 2 scrims of preparation. Then came back, and he was doing quite well on the game on Monday on Team Park. Unfortunately, they weren't able to win it. I am just really worried about the fact that now another roster change has happened. A lot of the roles got swapped around from Monday over to the Wednesday. So they had 1 day to prepare for this, Fluke, and I'm not sure if that is going to be able to show straight away in such an important matchup as this, because if Rogue loses this, they might be facing a relegation match against the number 2 of Challenger League.
It's so weird to say, right?
It is weird to say, especially considering they were first place in stage 1.
Yeah. And then you look at who was, well, could have been last place if it wasn't for the final game day, Secret, and how they are now.
Secret made the biggest improvement of all, whilst Rogue is the one with the biggest dip. You could say maybe they traded their momentum.
Traded some secrets, and, well, I'm sure at this point Rogue are trying to break this monkey's paw curse that has befallen their 5-man roster. Will the first finger crawl over, and will they be able to pull a point today? Something that, as he said, they desperately need. They obviously have aces now on the board, and Hosty, the pickup there. For those who are unfamiliar with him, sure, we got a little bit of a taste on the big screen and big stage, but he has huge gunning potential. He can be so aggressive when he needs to be, and has such an ability at just kind of careening through a team from unexpected places. One of those potentially untapped, unbelievable talents that was seen on one of the national leagues in UKIN, and then, let's put him on the big leagues. Didn't have the biggest showing in some of his games, but obviously enough of a belief for them to keep trying and keep pressing here. Talking of, the pressure's starting to instantly come against Jacuzzi. They want to try and grab anyone that's on the top floor. It's a very tall hold that's coming out from the hands of Rogue here, but they have a lot of gun skill to back it up, as we can see 3 players currently drifting around this top floor with the potential to rotate down.
There's always 2 options you have in situations like this when there's such a heavy roam presence, because there's 3 people upstairs. Either you cut directly to the site and you just don't have any of their setups and you just completely ignore it, or you start hunting them down. And if you go for the hunt, you need to be quick, because Corey gets tagged up just a little bit and eventually take it down. But the crossfires, Rask steps in from logistics office. And that is the first one gone, the first one of the 3.
Now they got to just try and apply the pressure onto the others. Corey, the person who's generally falling into a bit of a support role, is the one that is kind of freed up the role that Hosty's going to play, and see if he can make a bit more of an impact in this time round. Waiting for somebody to drift a little bit too close, and they find them. Rask first off the board. Court just getting close, but Milon wants to collapse down. Could waste the charge against that castle, but instead, no. Lets them slip away, takes our hold, and says, well, we've lost our sledge, we've lost a lot of self-destruction, we cannot waste any more of what Milon has if we want to try and push down further.
Push down further is exactly what Virtus.pro need to do, but Rogue still having at least 1 roamer available on the top of the oil pit, just waiting on that ladder. As the opportunity to drop as Leon gets, will be spotting out a leg of the Hibana right there. The exothermic will be going off. There is some cover. Milan will be able to pick up that kill. That's a huge one, as otherwise Shockwave and Passion might have fallen both if that cover was not there at the moment it was. That leaves us in a 3-on-4 situation, but only with 30 seconds left. Aces, however, is still up top. And as I say that, it is yet another member that falls on the actual side. Rips now needs to go for a bit of a flank if he wants to stop this diffuser from going down, but we both know that's not going to be happening. 45 seconds will be on the clock, and 2 members of Rogue will have to try and bring this back, and this is a very poor start for them.
Now it is only Rips left. They couldn't seem to catch anyone before now, but in a post plant you get one on your way out. 2 are stacked around on that main core stair set, and the proximity is going to give a bit of the game away. It seems like we still got the one swing onto Moto. There's a rotation above to get the control from verticality as well, but they don't quite know exactly where the play is. Unfortunately, he's right there. Came back down the main stairs. 3 positions, 3 angles, only really one way it was going to end. A great opener there from Virtus.pro, and they very quickly disassembled that top floor. We saw them obviously take the first body. They lost the second, sure, but they had already decided to start pushing against Moto and Bar at that point.
That's the thing. There were 3 people upstairs for such a long time on Rogue's side. However, only one really got challenged. The other 2 fell back as they realized maybe the pressure will not be as hard as we expected them to put it through. But I think the main job they had there, being all the way upstairs, was taking out the drones. Because after the first kill came through into Corey, I believe there was only 2 or 3 drones left in total for the rest of Virtus.pro. And that makes it even more impressive that they actually managed to pick up that round. Because they were in a 4-on-4 in an execute situation where they did not have that much information, so they decided to just go for defaults. Open up behind church, gives you the opportunity to plant behind the minibar, behind the boxes, whichever one you prefer. You use the hatches to make sure that no one will be peeking motorcycle, and suddenly you have a lot of control, and you do not need any drone to establish that.
Okay, thank you for just highlighting that, Easy. I was watching that the whole time. So Hazy's just trying to put the reinforcement up. The shield was already down by Rips, but it was too close. And you can see AC struggling. He was trying to catch the prompt to reinforce the wall. And that's obviously to stop the Zephyr charges, to stop anyone being knocked off. If they're trying to bandit trick and play this aggressively, it isn't not a catch-all, but can be a bit of a be-all and end-all of just stopping the animation being broken. And, you know, bandit tricking this, there's 1,000,001 ways to try and break through it. This is a way to have a little bit of a counter, but obviously, you've seen the soft destruction capabilities from beneath. They have frag grenades too, though they were the first off the board, so if they decide to get aggro under, you've got to still keep that held. Talking of Leon, adrift and astray as he's trying to just put some information game so he can hold up in logistics if any push comes on to this kitchen side. And, well, as you can see as well, he gets the site all the way up through to the hatch. It's a bit of a reverse play for a team that we know is quite feasible and aggressive with space. If they want to manipulate play, if they want to play the vertical or reverse vertical, hey, there's some good rooms and good points to do it in. Well, so much for the bandit tricking.
I was going to say, quickly dispatched it with a double impact probably coming down from Milan from below, taking care of the actual shield and thus forcing the bandit out of that position. See a little bit of an explosive there. Could have been a grenade as well from Rask. Not sure which of the 2 it was. Oh no, it wasn't Milan because there is still 2 impacts available, so it must have been Rask.
Yeah.
Using one of the grenades indeed. Both have been used, and that basically, well, allows them to open up really quickly. And it was quite some thought process going through there and making sure that the wall remains closed. But if it's dispatched within half a minute, that's even quicker than you would normally open up that wall in. Normally it would take about a minute or something. This was even quicker.
That's what we kind of highlighted there. Sure, the shield is a good effect to try and stop some of the effects of the concussives that might come around the wall, but as I pointed out, Rask had frag grenades. You just kind of have to get into a position where you can lob those, whether underneath or whether from CC window, whether even just angled close enough to blow it up through the door if the ADS that the Jaeger's already dispatched with, and, well, that's the result. Now, they have the open, they have the split, and they have a minute. So you can see all of them stacking up onto the construction and logistics side. They want to seemingly apply the pressure. Obviously, we saw Leon open up a bit of an angle here before. Has the potential to rotate back round via the bar and get in underneath here and cause some problems. Probably C4 still in a couple of pockets here. I haven't heard any pop off as of yet, so this is why you see Virtus.pro giving a little bit of a burster towards that hatch and any possibility of someone looping in, looping up, and blowing them away.
Now an impact, of course, will come in from Husty just to make sure that the second set of X-Kairos will not be going up. And there's a second set of X-Kairos available. Will be used, but another impact will reach as well. C4 will be tossed in, but not dealing any damage. And the biggest problem VP now has is how do we get in? Because we have all these openings, but we don't really have a way to get through, as they do not have the initial pick yet. And as I say, that's actually Hossi that picks up a pick, and then it starts going quite quickly. Aces picks up one. We have another one to come in, as Leon will be able to pick up a double kill. And Corey will finish it off quite quickly. Rogue are able to pick up round number 2. After, well, CCTV did not really work out for the attackers here. They managed to open up whatever they wanted quite quickly. It was just no garage control, which basically makes it impossible to plant CCTV. And well, if there's a maestro with the name of Hosty playing behind that bomb chassis, you also do not really want to be challenging him.
Yeah, everything was really put well from the start there in terms of getting control and getting things open from Virtus.pro. But in a way, from my perspective, it was 2 half pushes. They obviously, as you said, took control of the CCTV walkout. They had that main wall blown open and they had the angles, but they didn't have garage. They didn't have that one body on top, which means you can't really play it as aggressively as you might need to if you want to lock down on logistics. At the same time, they started their logistics push. They got most of the wall open, but they didn't really do too much in terms of clearing the door. And obviously we saw a C4, as I said, flew and sailed from underneath, didn't catch anybody, but it showed the potential aggression that was still up on the board. Virtus.pro were happy to try and push into the firefights, but well, it wasn't quite as successful as it was when they went below, and they had already taken a body or 2 off the board. They had a bit of a groundswell. They'd pulled some guns and something out of the crossfire and angles. As we know, Rogue are exceptional gunners. They were just still alive and free to move and gun.
Extension coming through. CCTV cache, the bomb site they just won, is now being used to reinforce their gym bedroom hold. I think you can say it like that.
Yeah.
Because it will basically make sure that the construction control will not be gained as effectively or as quickly as, well, let's say Virtus.pro might want, because they first have to deal with CCTV cache. Otherwise, they literally find themselves in a sandwich between 2 sites. And that forces utilities to be used. That means exothermics, that means EMPs, that means potentially even impacts or grenades. And as the EMP comes in, the wall will be opened up quickly. The question is, will Corey be responding? Will he be going aggressive? Or is he going to be falling back into cache, the secondary side, which they would have to use a secondary exothermic on?
VP are looking to apply the aggression very quickly again. They're wasting no time in getting the walls open. It's just the moments after where they seem to get a little bit caught up in a couple of different jobs. And that's when Rogue can strike. Aces gets the first against Pasha, potentially just swinging out at the gym window. But either way, Rask is in, and he's firing on all cylinders towards the corner rotation. Doesn't quite catch the back of a man, but there is still one in the room, holding deep, holding firm. Only takes one well-played grenade to get rid of Corey right now, and they have the option to rotate towards that hole, and Corey is just going to keep an eye on it. There's 2 guns currently pointed towards the same location in rotation. They're waiting for a player of Virtus.pro to come through, but look at this. More utility, more burn. Corey is in a very tight spot, so he does one decision, which is to swing into it. Puts a lot of body into Milon, but he survives. Another kind of 30 seconds wasted. And I think that's the thing about these trades is Virtus.pro, they're not slowing down. They're continually moving aggressively with the economy and utility game.
Trying to put the pressure indeed. The one issue they have now, however, is the fact that there is no more hard breach available, and Jacuzzi has not been opened up yet. That means the only point of ingress they have, I believe, will be coming out from the construction side of things, and you just saw a bullet hole being created right there. So there is definitely pressure. There's definitely people ready to start engaging on this. And that means they need to be expanding their view here on the like of Virtus.pro. Maybe push up main stairs, get some logistics control, because you're not going to be able to make it from just jumping in these windows, especially now when Aces is playing around it as it picks up the kill, the shockwave to start things off. That's a double kill for him, and he wants to push for more. Rask, however, finds a response onto Leon Geds, and Ace is still playing on the weights right here, holding off onto that window. Some pre-fires coming in. They need to deal with him quickly. How do you deal with him, though? That is the question. As Hosty goes down, Aces might be the man that has to do it all.
No, he gets caught out, and now it's just Rips left in the corridor, but cut off from the world. Virtus.pro, their increase in pressure that seems very consistent, is catching guns of Rogue a little bit by surprise here. We're seeing them almost go, this is problem okay, we have fixed the problem. Now, this is the new problem. Okay, now we have fixed this problem as well. Everything is quick. And that seems like Rogue just haven't hit that pace. And I guess it's something about Virtus.pro. If you look at their team and you look at their roster, sometimes when they get into a little bit of a loss, it turns into a little bit of a slump, unfortunately. They've just kind of been at the back of one of those. And, well, if you also look at Virtus.pro when they're off the slump, they are so quick, so aggressive, and so fast to the punch that sometimes the teams that struggle against them just don't really have a response for when 3 or 4 of their players just keep popping off. This could be in one of those situations, and I guess it's Rogue to try and match the pace and step of what's being put forward and against them right now. We've seen them do it once. It's just being able to replicate it across a couple of different sites.
I think I figured out the secret, Flick.
What's the secret? Are you allowed to say
flex, Virtus.pro's flex state was, you know, they didn't have any left for the last couple of matches. And they managed to order some new roles right now.
Okay.
That's exactly what they're using now. They find a mistake, they fix it. You know, put a bit of flex tape on it, and suddenly you're going to be able to flex your way around whatever is being brought, and just pick up these wins, pick up these insane kills. They're going to be helping you winning this matchup. And well, with that, as it saddens me to say, potentially put Rogue into the grave, quite literally.
Well, that's the quick break. If something is supposed to move and it doesn't, you use duct tape. If something is moving, if something isn't supposed to move, is supposed to move and it isn't, use WD-40. I got that backwards. I got that wrong. Whatever. Either way, talking about getting things in a particular way, Rogue, they've gone with the tool hold again. They've set themselves up with this very, very stretched vertical play. Hosty and Corey are playing on the top floor. I assume ACs isn't too far away as well, because I didn't see him on any of the others. Potentially going for the full 3-person up high, but it's Leon in the middle. The core of this hold has been cut in half by Milan. That is around the bar, that death is, and that isolates the 2 bodies. There they are, the pool table, cut and dry, and again, look at the pace of Virtus.pro. They are wasting no time in cutting through the middle, and that leaves Corey and Hosty isolated and cut off. Those hatches that were supposed to be secured by the player in the middle are now dangerous death drops, and they got to make sure that they make those land.
Oh, definitely didn't see that there was a drone right there. Corey's position was exactly well known and covered. Some shots were coming in as well. And look at the drone. There's one there in construction as well. So they know exactly whether or not a player will be in there, as Milan will be using that drone to try and find out where Corey has gone. And sight is the answer right here, as Hosty is the last remaining roamer of the 3 that Rogue put up. Aces will join back, however, as he is pushing on from the launch, but he has to be careful because the drone game of Virtus.pro is on point. They're absolutely putting down some really good and quick pressure, as they managed to almost take down Corey early on as well. The spot comes through right now. They know he will be falling back into the garage, and that means an oil pit drop is not very unlikely. All these pre-fires coming through. It is Rips to pick up Rask, however. A little bit of a reply to come through as they managed to bring it back to an equal standings, but a minute left. Still a member very low on Rogue.
Well, that's the way it breaks down. You got to look at who got the kill. It's Rips. It's one of the, well, originally the only anchor player until Mozzie went all the way back, but Mozzie went back with a sliver of health, so it shows that Virtus.pro are still applying pressure. They knew that there were bodies up, about, and around, and they're not wasting any time hunting for them. They want to get church open, they want to get controller pipes, and they want to get themselves putting the diffuser down yet again, but the spray comes out round the sides. Sometimes this rough and ready approach leads to moments of slight lack of success. There is Shockwave to apply some reverse, and there's a very quick trade that comes out down in blue. Now it's a swing of Rips, caught by the flash at the worst possible second, and Shockwave catches them too. 15 seconds, and they're trying to stick the plant down. ACs knows the game, knows the long cover, and tries to hit them down with an impact, but we're in a post-plant situation. They know exactly where he is, and they're pre-firing the angle, but he's good enough to hit him back down long. Now, 2 bodies, one in moto and one rotating round to hold the side of pipes. This was open before, but they've been able to slip past and get up the back stairs. It is a death sandwich. ACs has to find his way through the middle of, and with only 30 seconds, he's got to try and bite one of those ends of bread before he can try and get the delicious center, which is that diffuser ticking away. Both of them above, both of them in a situation to try and catch him. And 16 seconds for him to try and pull off something heroic here.
And that means that if you go for a peek right now, there is no way anymore that he will be able to go for it. You need to go, you need to push him, otherwise he gets the defuse, and it's exactly what they did. Shockwave will be able to get that final kill in as they swung on him at the same time. A double peek to come through. A bit too close for my liking, only a second left. If only like some more shots were caught off by the bar, that might have been actually, the defuse coming in from aces. But hey, it is a 3-on-1 situation now. We're talking Clubhouse here, and we're talking to Ace and Maverick Ben to come through. It severely limits the options that the attackers have. You're going back to the good old days where you only had Termite and Hibana available to you to get it with your Tetcher, and that's exactly the game VP is playing right now. However, as a defense, a 4-2 split is something you would really love to see happen. Otherwise, you might find yourself in a bit of a pickle going up to that second half. And, well, considering the fact that Virtus.pro already have 3 rounds onto the attack, that 4-2 for Rogue is not going to be happening.
Virtus.pro, they're barreling their way through this map right now. I'm going to use that word. Don't use that word too often in Siege because it's kind of rare. You don't have a team that is this kind of aggressive and unstoppable at the same time. And especially at this tier, it's not the most successful thing in the current meta as well, where a lot of it comes into those final 20 seconds. Okay, the diffuser went down in the final end, but you've got to look at how they barreled their way through the middle of the map, first of all, then down to the bottom where they obviously hit themselves into pipes, almost lost the life of the Thermite. It was very close for a potentially round-turning kill to come down in that situation. But that is the other effect of when you barrel down. It can be punished by a team prepared for it. It just seems like, unfortunately, we've lost a couple of Mario lives as they hop their way up to try and take care of Donkey Kong, and the barrels keep knocking them off Rogue. This is your potential to see if you can find yourself closer to saving the princess and getting yourself back onto the top of the board. Otherwise, if you're looking at anything less than a 3 split on the turn of the half, which is the best you can hope for, it's going to be a very tough attacking swing.
So Rogue needs to stop anything from moving out of hand right now. They need to make sure that not a single round in this half will be going the way of Virtus.pro. Because if it does, as the double impact comes in, Aces will be forced out, Rips will be receiving some damage, and the wall will be opening up. It's all disaster again here for Rogue. The question is, will they be going this time for an extra garage opening as a Kobe comes in? Rask will be able to take down Aces from below with a grenade. And look at Rips, he's all the way downstairs, moving back up to the stairs right now. We'll be joined by Hosted. Leon Gitz is still out on the roam, meaning only 2 on side and 1 on rafters. Could be quickly overrun here by Virtus.pro as soon as they find out that there's 1 missing on the actual bomb site.
A very particular lesson learned there has led to the opening kill. Obviously, last time they cleared out the bandit to stop him tricking, they used the frag grenades. This time they realized, well, if he's going to do that again, let's cook those frags and throw them where he escapes to. We know this is the route he's going to take. It's a perfect combination. What is going on here?
Let's just jump in back and forth with this drone just to get the information in the entire time. Shockwave will be able to get another kill. Corey still wasn't able to pick up on that drone. Will be picked up eventually after he wasted about 40 seconds just playing with Milan, who was using that drone right there. And it's all up to Leon Gitz and Rips right now in a 2-on-4 situation to make sure that they will be able to bring this round back. However, the unlucky thing is there's still 60 seconds left and suddenly it's all up to Rips now. Yes, he has 2 smoke canisters, but that's only about 20 seconds of stall that you can use, and there's too many angles to cover off, so he decides to go for the red stairs, and thus will only have to focus about the breach in the garage.
He wants to see if he can get someone by surprise. We know Virtus.pro have liked to push with a lot of pace, and, well, it's unfortunately not the time for them to do that. Throws the canister out to try and confirm the kill, but it's against Zafir. We saw her withstand almost come through unbelievably the other day, and doesn't even need to this time around. Virtus.pro, they had all the angles, all the idea, and a little bit more under their belt. 4-1, and the barrel keeps a rolling.
It's not going to be stopped. Well, not going to stop rolling as of yet. There's an opportunity to go 5-1 right here, as Rogue is absolutely being shut down by Virtus.pro. Is it not by just gun skill, it is by just keeping them busy, allowing others to rotate through, get into a position where you can get a better angle, a better shot off. And that's exactly what they're doing time and time and time again. And we're going back to Gym Bedroom to maybe find a round here for Rogue. The question is, will they? Will they be able to get it? Will they be able to turn it around this time and make sure that you're not going to be taken out 1-for-1 again? Because that is the issue you see with Rogue. They're not in refrag positions, and I think that is the big takeaway here. because they keep on ending up in these situations where they're being crossfired by VP or being refragged, but there's no one there to respond from Rogue.
Virtus.pro. I mean, there's a lot of positives to take away from your team so far, and the way you've played has been so markedly better than what we've seen recently. The confidence is continuous, and the control, although I've pointed out how aggro you are in terms of your movements, which you are, you seem to still have a solid idea of what you want to keep a hold on. They're not going for full big clears of club. In fact, they're kind of playing against Rogue's game of let's spread out, let's use guns and gun skill and try and get some more bodies down. We have 3 really amazing gunners now, with Hosty stepping into the roster. They've moved slightly further away from their usual structure. As they've said before, they wanted to try and bring someone that had a bit more panache and a bit more aggro and a lot to prove right now, and well, it's just not working because Virtus.pro, they're a great team to that regard, and they're a great team at just knowing how to play against it.
All right. Here we have it. Some early pressure coming down. Milan already in the middle of the garage on the rafters. We'll be putting up some pressure. Pasha will join as well. Actually decides to drop down from plateau. There is an EMP, not an EMP, an electroclaw present that will be stopping VP from potentially opening up on that wall for now. But look at Raski's again, ready from the bottom floor. Able to toss in a grenade as soon as one of these Rogue members dislocates themselves, puts them in a disadvantageous position. Look at Hosty, for example. He's near that doorway, could be on the receiving end of one of those grenades. As there comes a C4, but it's going to be just too short to not be able to pick up Milan. He takes down the shield himself, and that means Rips will now be forced to rotate all the way back through the basement to go back to those main stairs and join the site. That means it's only left Okori now, who is playing in cash, and is most likely going to be dying here as well, or, well, basically become a hero.
Quick pepper fire is the way it's coming out, but it's going to be the prolonged fire, and we saw the drone that led to the demise pinging them. Doesn't want to waste the grenade on the kill, because they know they have the angles covered, and they know Corey is a lost subject. There's Pasha, there's the kill. The drone game so far has been very good. I know I briefly illuminated the control and the information in the pockets of space they had, but maybe I should point out that that is built upon the drone game. The consistency of the moving leads to things like that. There is Leon. Dropped from deep. They had an idea of where the angle was being held, so they just swung and pre-fired onto it. It's balanced with their aggression, and Aces wants to counter, doesn't just sees the man on the right-hand side. Didn't at first, but now the catch is coming out from Jim. Wants to respond like for like. Knows there's a second out there and is going to pull away and peel away, not get caught out by it. Moves further past the Goyo shield, and this is a player that doesn't want this to start slipping through their fingers. Is trying to respond to the Virtus.pro game in the same way, but there's another one and there's another return. As Aces finds yet another, swings back round towards Jim, a place where he put in a pretty decent stand before, and finds almost his third in the same place in the corpse of the Habana hole, but then goes back and finally gets caught out there. The movement and momentum is in a way what they've been missing and what they've suffered at the hands of. It's just a very tricky thing to do when it's seemingly you versus the world.
That's it. It's just Ace is really allowed to be moving so fluently, so freely throughout the sites, able to pick up these kills time and time again. And you saw him thinking about it. Maybe someone will be pushing construction, but he had to go for the reload, chose to go for that one, and got picked up as a result. The round was lost after that. But man, it is so rough for Rogue. They find themselves in a very, very shitty position right here. There's no other way to put it. I'm sorry, but
there may be other ways.
2 rounds away.
There may be other ways to put it without swearing.
There's true.
I'm so
it's
sorry.
a really, really, really bad position, and they will be like losing this could potentially mean relegation. That is something to keep in mind right here.
It does.
If Tempera wins their game, they are so screwed.
I'm sure they're using words, but they're not on broadcast, Mr. Hap. Dez.
Oh.
Mr. Dez is all capsing you right now. In anger.
I'm already in the naughty word list.
Yeah. Hey, 5-1.
Oh well.
Naughty books, naughty
5-1
words,
indeed.
naughty list. Unfortunately, Santa's not dropping you any presents right now. Rogue And if we're going to talk about Santa and dropping things, ACs need to start dropping more bodies because we know he's capable of it. And we can see him itching to do it as well. It was always one of the things about him as a player, is if we're going to talk about how Virtus.pro, as I said, have been playing, they have been quick, they've been aggressive, they've been trying to find space.
Oh no.
That was what Hosty developed, and that is...
What? How? From below?
Was that on the window? It was on the window. The hop through, caught by a... Just again, more intel. Intel, ideas, holes, and... Well, Rogue missing a trick. And that's Habana off the board.
That is Habana off the board. That is one of your heart breaches gone. You only have to rely on your termite now, and there's still a mirror window that will be all dealing with the main stairs, so you can forget about opening up onto church as well. This all Rips will do is open up 2 hatches of his choice. Question is, which 2 hatches will it be? It looks like motorcycle and the blue hatch, as of course the kitchen one has the opportunity to be tricked quite easily. If there's no Kaid on the board, well, then this one will be opened up quite effectively. And it gives him 2 points now, 2 points to put some pressure from, but it will probably not be enough because you want to have some walls opened up. You cannot rely on just dropping in through these hatches here. You need to find an opening, you need to find a response before you can start thinking about those tricks.
Well, now they're waiting for more of a presence. The diffuser has generally been left cold as they go to collapse and put pressure on the other bits that they need to, they want to apply against this church wall, but the mirror window is going to make it a very tricky situation. They have eyes the instant they get the approach, and for now, Rogue, they're stuck waiting, watching, and hoping that some of the pressure is alleviated from the opposite side. Starting with Leon appearing and applying himself towards blue and the big utility box. Nobody's caught as they rotate out and round and pull themselves back. They have the man advantage. They no longer have that mirror window, but they still have eyes, angles, and some bullets into aces.
Need to find some more bullets into aces if they want to be able to take him out, and oh, there we have it. He will be taken out. Leon gets, however, finds a response, goes for 2, but will be taken out instead, and that means that Virtus.pro are in a 4-on-2 situation now. 4-on-1 make that, and I'm not even going to be allowed to finish my sentence before they win that round. Virtus.pro on match point. All that Rogue can get right now is just a single point, and if they want to get that, they need to get 5 rounds straight without a single slip up, because as soon as they slip up, it will be Virtus.pro that is ready to respond. And the question here is, was the roster change exactly what was necessary to go into this game? Because the opinions were divided on the talent team. Many said, okay, maybe it is what you need. And others said, well, maybe this many roster changes is not going to be helping you that much this late in the season. And it does seem to become the latter, that the roster change wasn't enough to help them or save them from Virtus.pro.
Well, they don't have much longer left. Obviously, they're looking down the barrel of a very scary gun right now. And Virtus.pro, well, they're looking fired up. And we've seen them go into the end of seasons fired up, and then they hit the major, and they're still in that same position. The other teams that are sitting pretty towards those top sectors will obviously have a little bit more confirmation depending how the rest of the results today go, but either way, this is also a bit of a lesson towards them as well. This VP roster, they've had a bit of a slump. A couple of games haven't gone their way, but my word, they're back, and they're back with the skill and caliber that we know they're capable of. Milon, who had a couple of bad games and a couple of bad play days, 11-2 against this Rogue.
He is stepping up. He's stepping up huge, showing he was a good addition to the roster of Virtus.pro. As they really start jumping, they never really stopped. They had a bit of a slump, but that was also the case in stage 1. And Virtus.pro right now, I think they look stronger than they were in stage 1. I think we can say that. But Rogue, I am really starting to worry for them right now. If it was Q confirmed, like in Apex, we would say we're Q concerned. I'm not going to be able to make a joke with Rogue in it.
No.
But they will really have to hope. I don't think I'm the wordsmith that is going to be able to come up with that. But
so we need to call Jackie.
Oh, maybe he's going to be able to make something up with that. But I don't know. Like, they really have to hope Secret is going to be able to win from Temper here, because otherwise it just doesn't look bright here for Rogue, who are able to pick up the first kill into Rask. The question is, will it be enough? Will this be what they need?
Revenge and a bit of response, and they catch the Jaeger on the far side. There is a steady drone game coming up. Basher's going to keep attentive eyes as Corey moves in behind 2 drones. Hosty is also applying some ideas, and that gets caught and caught out. The Legion's going to give a bit of a game away, and we can see the change of pressure and pace from the guns of Rogue. They're looking to try and collapse against this construction side. They want to swing against this Legion that is again swinging so aggressively back. The C4 is missed and blown. And it seems like Virtus.pro are going to react and respond to the fact that everything has started to apply itself from the opposite side they expected. Pasha is asking for a bit of support here with the jammer taken out currently. They're going to get really close. Look for the impact on the second set. They're going to make sure that they can stop anyone getting in so quickly and aggressively. But that catch, that drone, and that amount of pre-fire finally catches the man who is dancing a very long dance with the devil.
It was a very long dance indeed. Not sure why he just didn't go for the impact there, because he saw it was about to come through. The Excalibur went off and decided to instead run off. And Shockwave right now will be able to take care of most of the Excalibur. Only one survives, but Leon gets is down below to actually shut him down. And this is the Rogue we would like to see. This is what we'd like to well, need them to see, or show at least, because otherwise it is game over. It is a 2-on-4 situation. It is very winnable here for Rogue, but you got to make sure they do not slip up, and they do exactly that. They do not slip up so far. It's Milan against the world right now. He will be taken down, and Rogue are starting their comeback towards the 1 point, which could be their saving grace at the end of this season.
Throughout this game, I think that is the first true time we've seen Rogue firing with the precision that is generally necessary to take down a team like Virtus.pro. All of it was in their hands, as we saw the drone game and the intel got their first kill very quickly against the Jaeger. Then they had all of the beat and the read on where the Legion was, who tried to slip away and escape, and them, another Rogue player, another catch. The man from underneath as he popped and got control of those Hibana. Oh, there's Leon. They were in the right places at the right time. They knew where Virtus.pro were going to be, and they had a bit of energy about needing to be there. It was confident, and you've still got 4 more rounds to pull a single point from this, but it's nice to get a taste of the Rogue that we're more familiar with.
All right. Are they going to be able to keep this up, though? That is the question, because so far it is 6-2. They at least avoid the Brazil to come through. The 7-1 is not going to be happening. But that's, the 7-2 is also not something they would like to have, and neither is a 7-3, 7-4, or 7-5. They need to go for the 6-6. That's the only acceptable result in the current situation they find themselves in. Because be aware, Stage 1, they ended on the top of the leaderboards. They were the absolute best together with BDS. And look at them right now. BDS still on top of the leaderboard, and Rogue all the way at the bottom with 0 wins. Now, I think they even have a record with that in pro play, which is seven losses in a row.
Yep.
Not sure if that ever happened before.
I don't believe it did.
Might become 8.
It's not a record you want to have.
No.
Especially after the record you set beforehand with the performance at the first split. And I guess that's one of those unfathomable moments where it's just, it's the riches to rags kind of story. But when you're trying to look at ways things have gone wrong, obviously we're not in the comms, we're not in the camp, we're not in the players' heads. We cannot really put pieces together without just kind of guessing that they're supposed to slot there. And I guess from our perspective, when you still get these little flashes of that Rogue, these little flashes of control, cool, confident, and unwavering gun skill, it makes you a little bit kind of, I guess, wishing for the olden days. Talking of Rask wishing to peek on that window, you can just see him waiting, the Jaeger.
I'm going to tell you, as Leon Gitz picks up the first kill, it isn't just this 7 lose streak they're currently on. They also lost a single match in the major, which is 2 matches, and they lost the last game of stage 1. So they're currently finding themselves on a 10 lose streak. They're trying to break that. That is what Rogue is trying to do. They're trying to get at least a point out here. Wouldn't be a win, not exactly what they would need to have. There's definitely something. As Leon Gitz might be become victim of a bullet hole here if he's not careful enough. Managed to fire some bullets in right as the player rotated out. No damage done, but Still the advantage here for Rogue. They get a good drone in there. They find out all the location of 2 of these players, and Aces is thinking about going for a jump in here, but not without Hosty being into the position to be actually able to go for the refrag if they would be going for that jump in, if they would be falling back into the side. As WTG will be picked up, but finally we get a response from Virtus.pro.
Well, they waited and lost a very important gunfight there. Puts us into a 3 versus 3. Leon obviously done a lot of the work to be able to get the bodies down that they needed to, but with a minute on, he wants the Jaeger to take a few more steps. No, we're not paused. That's just the tension that we have and the waiting game. Corey puts another body into Shockwave. The Jaeger you assume to get caught now. And that puts us into a 3 versus 1. Only left to, well, Milan, a big player and a huge gun on the board. 30 seconds is plenty of time for them to try and get that diffuser in and get it down, with a 2 hard destruction offering cover. But they don't need it. And they don't need the plant, at least. They had the cover.
And that means the second round in a row has been won by Rogue. Their comeback, could it happen? Could this be the round they need to complete the swing? Because right now we're allowed to be going back to Church Arsenal. And that is probably the sight we will see coming out from Virtus.pro again. And indeed it is the case. Remember last time they managed to get the opening kill onto the Hibana from below, from the Arsenal with the Maestro. Shut down Corey, shut down one of the Heart Breachers. That basically hindered Rogue quite a bit and made sure VP would be onto that match point. You cannot rely on that to happen again, because this time they will be ready for it. You will have to find a different way to get that opening, to get that entrance. Because VP, they're looking to close this out, because they can do some really good business right here for their six major spot, which of course will help them qualifying for the 6th Invitational that will be in February.
Well, they've done some pretty good work over these past couple of rounds and been able to catch Virtus.pro adrift and ajar, and I guess that's one of the punishments that can fall a team that's quick and aggressive, is if you have something metered and something balanced, and someone like Leon who's got a bit heated and is able to start hitting his ones with that level of precision, how do you respond? This opened in the worst possible way. The hard destruct dropped from underneath before they could even begin to use maybe the most precious utility you can have on this map. And, well, let's see, I guess, if the true example is, have they learnt a little bit of a lesson when your diffuser carrying Hibana goes first? Well, you really hope they don't repeat that mistake.
It's a different angle that is being watched for now. The door this time is the choice of Milan to be aggressive through. As Rask playing around the new blue stairs, Milan gets tagged up a little bit. Leon Gibbs was ready, but wasn't able to pick up onto that kill, and potentially the rotate is already long done. Milan should no longer be challenging. However, of course, will still be near to go for potential impact tricks to try and take out as many of these X-Carrosses as you potentially can. That's something to keep in mind. There's 4 impacts actually available potentially, at least on Pasha. Where am I tripping? Might be tripping. No, there's 4. Yeah, we have 4. All right, I'm not tripping.
You okay, man?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Don't worry.
That's good. 2 minutes. This is, for the first time, the longest we've had somebody, I believe, standing at this point. Usually someone has at least found a bit of a counter-fire, and here they're trying to do some work on the collapse first. Corey's not risking the window. No, sir, not today. Instead, gonna head for the hatches and try and get the control from this side. Milan is watching and waiting, but Shockwave is the first to suffer some damage, trying to hold down against Dirt. Milan's still waiting, but with the impact and the trick, there's gonna be no miss. The first and the second set of pellets gets opened up and has to pull back. A big blow for the potential of being holding back the swathe and sway of Rogue's control. Now they have the kitchen hatch. They've pushed Milan back, but he doesn't actually care as he just guns Corey from a pixel angle.
Same result as the last time around. You managed to pick him up. However, the big difference here is this time the hatch was opened up. Smoke canisters being tossed through, but the pre-fire comes through as Leon Gates was already long past the smoke canister. So picks up the kill onto that smoke and then rotates all the way back out again. Leaves it up to Rips, who is the man left standing inside the dirt tunnel. Milan, however, thrown next to the boxes, is going to be for him to be waiting for another headshot with the Alba right here. Gives away his position, will be rotating just a little bit as he crawls over to the left as Leon picks up onto WTG. Suddenly the advantage goes to Rogue again, and it's going to be an even bigger advantage as another kill comes through. It's up to Milan now as he drops through, and that means Pasha as the last man standing needs to clutch out on a 1v3, but it doesn't happen yet again. Rogue are coming back. It's 3 rounds in a row. All they need is 2 more.
Okay, Rogue, we see you. We see what you're doing and we see what you're capable of. And again, I know he's my country folk and I know he's one of the big UK massive heroes. Leon Gods. The bits he's doing is seemingly the start of all the success that Rogue has had over the past few rounds, wasting no time in applying the pressure, hitting those shots. The man is heated. And it's obvious in the caliber of play that he has been able to bring these past couple of the rounds. But 2 more. Still not over yet. You know what you're fighting for, and you know the taste of being knocked down into Challenger League and being stuck adrift in a jar. Hey, this is a team that once upon a time when you were flying the secret banner that kept you there before. Let's not make it happen again, I'm assuming Leon is saying, as they look at 2 more rounds. They're looking at Church yet again. And it's obviously 50-50, but, well, Rogue, you stepped up. Let's see you keep going.
Got to keep in mind as well, with Empire winning, Rogue is directly competing against Tempra at this moment in time. And luckily for Rogue, they have the head-to-head by a 2-round differential. That means if they will be ending up on similar amount of points at the end of this stage, Rogue will be the one that's safe, and Tempra will be the one ending up below them, potentially in that 9th place spot. So a point here will be very helpful. That means that, well, if only a draw happens here for Tempra in the next game to come, it will not be detrimental. Of course, you rather have them lose, but it still means you're in front. It still means you have it into your own hand going into the last game on Monday. That gives you some time to prepare mentally, but also physically, because that could be a very important game for their hearts and their minds.
A lot of maths, a lot of nerd stuff. A lot of gun skill. That's what I'm looking at and looking for here, because to be honest, when you look at these 2 rosters on their best day, that is what they are built around. And so far, as we've seen, Virtus.pro gave a good demonstration in their attacks, but Rogue, they haven't really been able to find an answer for what Rogue has put onto the pressure these last couple of rounds. It's seemingly a big step up, and I think the same way I would have cited as Rogue's being taken a bit aback and adrift, here is Virtus.pro in the same boat. They know they're only 1 round away, but one mistake in that situation where it costs another round can really start eating away at the momentum and mentality that you've set yourself up. Pasha's playing the Kaid, keeping the hatches secure this time, a slightly different approach to how it was rolled and broken last time round, and it's going to slow a little bit of the push and approach here. Leon, well, that's one way to deal with the claw. Drop it. Take a little bit of damage yourself from the shrapnel bursting its way back up and a splinter, but there's to make sure that you get it done this time around. Pops it either side, make sure they catch it, but the impact trick works this time. Oh, the claw is there too. Leon's done all he can do. Let's see if they can get it this time around.
Last EMP came through as well. The question is there another impact to try and trick? Yes, there is, but again, failed by Milan. That means the hatch will finally open up. The point of ingress has been made. And yet again, he will be trying to go for a cheeky headshot onto one of the players of Rogue who could be challenging him. Last time it was Corey. It looks like it might be Leon Gitz this time as he is getting close. More angles, however, being opened up by the big sledgehammer that is just rocking over the floorings and the ceilings. And now Rogue is setting up for the final push, for the final descend towards the side. Dirt Tunnel is one point that they would like to take first. This time, however, there is a shield to back up onto Shockwave. There's no more impacts left, remember, because both of them were used to try and take out that one Electroclaw. ADSs will be making sure that the flashbangs get caught up, but Shockwave will fall back.
Shockwave was one of the first off the board last time, and it handed over Dirt, which turned into a big bit of ingress. He is continually trying to fight his way back, but there it is. 2 quick kills, Aces and Rips taken off the board, and Hosty is the one to at least find a bit of a response. Rask almost goes down in blue and finally does as Leon applies the pressure, swings against Hosty, but there's Maestro holding behind the 3rd box, and another double for Milan, who finds his 3rd from the hatch. The way he let the hatch slip, maybe he just wanted the kill later. Virtus.pro, you lock down your pretty solid start with a little bit of a shaky end.
It started indeed very solid, 5-1, turned into a 6v1, and then suddenly Rogue were starting their comeback, they were starting their attack. We had a very attack-sided clubhouse today, I have to say. But in the end, they were able to close it out nonetheless. Milan 19-5. If that would have gone on to the full distance, he might have been able to break the frag record to come through for an official matchup on the highest level, but